Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my flows are all about accessibility and meeting you where you are. And if you're coming back, thank you so much for joining me again. Always coming back, yes. So today's flow is designed around our throat chakra, which governs our communication, self expression, and truth. And when your throat chakra is in balance, you can speak with clarity and confidence. However, if it's blocked, or unbalanced, you can sometimes struggle with expressing yourself or maybe even feeling unheard. So, this vinyasa flow is centered around our throat chakra and it creates openness and mobility in our neck, our shoulder, and even in our upper chest. I invite you to use my mantra. I speak my truth with clarity and confidence throughout today's practice. If you have your own mantra, please feel free to use that. However, let's get started. I have my blocks here, and what we're going to do before we jump straight into the yoga practice is we're going to settle down and set our intention for today's practice, beginning off with some breath work. So let's get started. I'm just going to sit here in an easy seated pose with my legs straightened out in front of me here and sitting tall in this pose today with my shoulders relaxed. And I'm just going to set my intention for today's practice. So I will repeat my mantra as we start, but I speak my truth with clarity and confidence. And I am going to lead with that intention throughout today's practice here. Settling into my breath here and getting ready for today's practice. So feel free to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. If not, a soft gaze looking downward on your mat works fine here as we do some breath work. So we're going to inhale through our nose here. And with our exhale, we're going to hum. So with your lips closed, we're going to hum. So closing with your closed mouth, you're going to have a humming sound here just to kind of activate your throat chakra, activating that energy, sending that energy to your throat here. So inhale through your nose, exhale with mouth closed, humming. Mm. And feel free to repeat a couple of rounds on your own here. Mm. 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 And one more. Mm. And if your eyes are closed, begin to open them slowly and return to your surrounding as we start our warm up. So I'm just going to grab my blocks here. We're going to need them a little bit soon. And here with our first move, what we're going to do, continue in your easy seated pose here. And we're going to start off with some neck rolls. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our right ear and we're going to place it or towards our right shoulder here. So feeling a nice stretch in your neck here. And we're going to bring our chin down to our chest with this neck roll. And imagine your nose is drawing a big circle with the color blue, which typically represents our throat chakra here. So making a very, very nice, big or small circle here with our neck rolls. And with each roll, let's see if you can relax your shoulders here, nice and slowly, as we do our neck rolls here with our blue marker on our nose. And let's get one more. With your chin to your chest, go in the opposite direction here towards your left side. And again, you're drawing that circle. You may have some squiggly lines going this way, but it's totally fine here. And we're breathing with ease as we have our neck circles here. And do a couple of more on your own. And on your next circle here, meet me in the center, just looking straight forward to you here. And now we're going to grab our blocks for a seated side stretch. So with our blocks placed next to us, it's just here to bring the earth a little bit closer to you here. They can fall off the mat if they're it's kind of wobbly. It was for me. So we're gonna sweep our hands up here. And again, imagine if you're holding a beach ball. I believe earlier in a couple of videos a while ago, I was kind of talking through alignment here. So to avoid scrunching up your shoulders towards your ear, imagine that you're holding a very large beach ball. You're getting ready to throw it. We're listening to some Bad Bunny on the beach. And you're here with your arms here rested. Now, taking your right hand, we're going to rest it on your block on your right side here. And we're just going to stretch over, stretching our left side here. And feel free to turn or twist open here, just giving yourself a nice stretch here. And now return back to your leaning to the side. And let's repeat on the opposite side. So now placing your left hand down, raising your right hand. We're stretching that right side of our body here. We're going to open up our chest here just for a nice twist. Returning back to your side stretch. And we're going to just repeat here again. So now lifting your left arm up, twisting that left side of your body, opening up, and then repeat on the opposite side. Returning back to center, we are going to move into cat cow. So I'm going to show you a couple of different variations. So this is going to be our first variation, a seated cat cow here with your hands resting on your thighs. And we're going to relax our shoulders here in a nice neutral spine position. And what we're going to do now is we're going to open up our chest here, bring our shoulders back for this nice position here. You can look upward towards your eyebrows for our seated cow. And now rounding your spine, bringing your hands a little bit further to your knees or shin here. We're going to now move into our cat pose. So here is your seated cat cow. Feel free to tap into this pose if you like. Or we can do our more traditional. So moving our blocks over here and sweeping our legs around, getting into a tabletop position, dropping our belly, looking towards our eyebrows here, and rounding the spine. So, two variations here of your cat cow, whichever feels best for you. Tap into that. And I'm going to shout my mantra out here. I speak my truth with clarity and confidence. A couple of more rounds of cat cow. And feel free to move whatever speaks to you. If you like to move your hips a little or a more traditional cat cow, do whatever speaks to you here. And now return to a neutral position or tabletop. We're going to untuck our toes here and we're going to lift our knees off the mat. Just like this, we may feel a little tremble here. And now we're going to push our hips back and up for a downward dog. So, in your downward dog, don't worry if your feet are not flat. We want to use our arms to push away from the earth here. This is the most, I would say, the most important part of a downward dog is that strong push away from the earth. And find your downward dog that's comfortable for you. And what we're going to do next is move between those two positions here, a downward dog, and then we're going to go back with our knees hovering over our mat as we breathe, and then downward dog. Back to your knees hovering, downward dog. We'll do a couple of these on your own here at your own pace. Building some heat. One more full round. Returning back to your tabletop. And then putting your big toes together, knees wide, and sitting back to child's pose. Inhale, looking up, and then meeting me into a tabletop position here. And now we're going to push our hips back and up for our downward dog. Looking straight ahead, widen your stance, and walk to the top of your mat here. Feeling free, feeling as if you can bend your knees as comfortable as you like in our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Grounding in all four corners of your feet. Inhale, lifting your hands up. Rising your hands to the top. You can look at your thumbs here. And then resting our hands to the side. Great job. We finished our warm up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through two separate sequences for our throat chakra flow. And then we're going to end it with more breathing or breathing practice, more of that humming sound. And then we're going to tap into Shavasana. So if you can meet me at the top of your mat here in a traditional Tadasana or mountain pose with your hands to the side. And sweeping your hands up, inhale with your hands lifted, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, forward fold. Stepping back to a supported plank here. Bring your head forward or your crown, lowering down to your stomach here. Inhale, we're going to move into a cobra pose here, one of our heart opening throat chakra positions here. And then exhale, bring it down to the mat. Plank position to downward dog. Inhale, sweeping your right leg up. And step into low lunge. Sweeping your hands up here, pushing your hips forward. Now drop your elbows, open up your chest here, tilt your head back into a low lunge variation pose. Inhale, sweeping your hands up, back into your supported plank. Bring your crown forward, lowering down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, Downward dog. Inhale, sweeping your left leg up. Step into a low lunge. Pushing your hips forward. Dropping your elbows. Opening up your chest, tilting your head back. Inhale, sweeping your hands up. Back into your supported plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, sweeping your leg up. Step into low lunge. Cactus arms. Supported or full chaturanga. Downward dog. Left leg sweeping up. Step into low lunge. Hands lifted. Exhale. Cactus arms. Tilting your head back. Inhale, sweeping your hands up. Back. Into our supported or full chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, looking forward and walking up to a wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back to a downward dog position. Inhale, sweeping your right leg up. Step into warrior one. Use your hands to pull you up here. And in your warrior one position, again, checking your hip alignment, bringing this right hip back. So both hips are straight forward here. Imagine if you have headlights and you're looking for your headlights to shine forward straight through. Feel free to keep your hands up here, or you can also take your hands and place them on your lower back. And again, tilt back here in a modified warrior one here. And now sweeping your hands up, open up to warrior two. Straighten your front leg, triangle pose. Warrior two. Cartwheel, framing your front feet. Stepping back to downward dog. Inhale, sweeping your left leg up. Step into warrior one. Feel free to place your hands on your back here for a modified warrior one position. Inhale, sweeping your hands up. Open up to warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Triangle pose. Did y'all hear that pop? Warrior two. Cartwheel to frame your front foot. Stepping back to downward dog. Supported or full chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, sweeping your right leg up. Step into warrior one. Whew. You can also tap into your modified warrior one here. Open up to warrior two. Straighten your front leg, triangle. Warrior two. Cartwheel to frame your front. Pivoting your back leg, downward dog. Inhale, sweeping your left leg up. Step into warrior one. Feel free to place your hands on your lower back here for modified warrior one, tilting your hip back. Inhale, sweep your hands up. Open up to warrior two. Triangle. Warrior two. Cartwheel to frame your front legs. Stepping your feet back for downward dog. Full or supported chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Now meet me down into a child's pose here, bringing our hips wide. Big toes could be touching child's pose. Inhale, looking up, and then bring yourself into a tabletop position. Now I'm going to bring my legs around here and back into an easy seated pose position here. And now we're going to focus on some breath work to really tap into our throat chakra. Yoga flow here. And we had a little preview of it earlier in our practice, but now since we got our blood pumping and really kind of focusing on our throat chakra, I want to also add in some visual cues. So as we're breathing through our humming practice, imagine if you have a blue light on your throat here specifically. And with each inhale and exhale, imagine that light getting bigger and stronger. Your communication is clear. Your self expression is bigger. Your creativity, all those things. You know your truth. Again, I speak my truth with clarity and confidence. And that's what this flow is all about. So, as we tap into our breath work, I want you to really tap into that throat chakra energy to really activate it for the rest of the day. I want you to speak, express yourself very clear. So, feel free to stay in a position such as an easy seated position, or you can also lay on your back, whatever feels good for you. I'm going to stay up just so I can hold space for you. So, settling here, breathing, slowing down from our practice today. We're going to tap back into our humming breath work. So, inhaling through our nose with our mouth closed, exhaling with our mouth closed. We're going to make a sound as we exhale. So, again, inhale through your nose, mouth closed, exhale. Inhale through your nose, exhale. So I'm going to go silent for you to practice this humming breath work on your own. And again, think about our mantra. I speak my truth with clarity and confidence while you do your humming breath work. Mm. Imagine that blue light getting bigger with each breath. A couple of more rounds before we head into Shavasana. At this time, I'm going to lay down to get ready for Shavasana. If you would like to find a comfortable position for you, please tap into that now. So I'm just going to lay here on my back. Mm. So, as we get ready for Shavasana, feel free to continue with your humming breath work, or if you like to return to your normal breathing pattern. Whatever works best for you. As we come to a close of this practice, again, I thank you for being here with me, and I speak my truth with clarity and confidence. Take your deepest inhale for today's practice. Exhale through your mouth. If your eyes have been closed, feel free to open them. If you do have more time for Shavasana, I encourage you to always be here. But if not, begin to wiggle those fingers and toes, y'all. I'm all jumbled up because it feels so good. And if your eyes have been closed, feel free to open them and return to your surroundings. And twist over or turn over to the left or the right side of your mat, whatever feels best for you. for today's practice as we sit in this fetal position just for a little. Feels so good. Placing your front hand down, bringing yourself up. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I really hope you enjoyed this and come back when you want to balance your throat chakra. This practice is for you. Again, I speak my truth with clarity and confidence, and so do you. Until next time, bye.